What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be discussing the box office for this weekend. And I've been sick the last couple days, so I wasn't able to do a box office update on Sunday, Monday, or yesterday. So I was feeling better today, so I was like, let's just go, let's just do it. And today we're going to be talking about Smile 2, which opened this weekend to 23 million, and I've seen a lot of differing opinions on how this opening weekend went. Some people are saying this is a great opening weekend. Some people are saying this is a very disappointing opening weekend. And I'm leaning towards the side of this is a disappointing opening weekend because it was projected about a month ago to possibly have a $20 to $40 million opening, and it fell very much on the lower end of that spectrum there. And so it's kind of a lower opening, although I think the reason that some people say it's a really good opening is because about a couple days before the film opened, it was looking really scary. Like, it might have in the high teens is what Deadline reported, at like 18, 19, like 17, 18 million, which would have been absolutely catastrophic for this film to be in the teens that low on the opening weekend. But it was able to climb up to 23 million, so good on it. It did a really good job there of kind of salvaging itself at the very end to making sure that it wasn't a complete disappointment. But I still think that it could have been a lot better. All right, let's head over to the top 10 now and check that out. The usual site that we use is called The Numbers, but unfortunately it was doing maintenance today for some weird reason, whatever. So we're going to use Box Office Mojo to give you all the numbers here. So we have Smile 2, obviously, number one this weekend with $23 million, and which is $1 million above the original. And usually you want sequels to open much, much higher than the original. Whether or not they go on to make as much money is questionable, but you want it to open higher because you have more fans who want to go see the movie. So it needs to open a lot higher than just $1 million over. So I would not consider that in that regard to be good, that it opened just $1 million above the original. Coming in at number 2 is The Wild Robot, which has had a third weekend, right? Yeah, this is its third weekend, fourth weekend. Fourth weekend, and it is just over $10 million this weekend, and it is down only 27%, which is phenomenal. I mean, this thing is one of those films that just continues to make a lot of money. But there was a funny article that I read that I wanted to bring up about The Wild Robot that I thought was really funny, and I wanted to talk about it. And it was that that a bunch of teenagers are buying Terrifier 3 tickets because it is R-rated. They're treating it as an R-rated film, even though we all know that it's unrated, which means that the studio didn't want to get it rated because they knew it would get an X rating. It's that bad. And so a bunch of teenagers are buying tickets for The Wild Robot, and then going in and sneaking into Terrifier 3 instead. So The Wild Robot's been making a lot more money because Terrifier 3 is the thing that's being watched more. So I thought that was really interesting, and I want to bring that up. But The Wild Robot has crossed the $100 million total gross for domestically, which is phenomenal for it. And Terrifier 3, speaking of, comes in at number 3 on its second weekend of $9.3 million, down 51% from last weekend, which is just great. This film is making so much money, and it's doing a great job. This thing cost, I believe, $5 million. I think it cost $5 million for Terrifier 3, and it's so far made $36 million just here in America and Canada, the domestic box office. So it is doing incredible, and it is printing money for Cineverse. Coming in at number 4 is Beetlejuice on its seventh weekend in theaters. $5 million, down 32% from last weekend, and it is up to $283 million overall on its domestic run. Coming in at number 5, We Live in Time, a new one, just came out this weekend, $4.1 million, up 1,700%, which is, at first you look at that, you're like, up 1,700%, Well, it came out of limited release into wide release, so it goes ahead and counts that as its last weekend. And so now that it's in wide release, it's making a lot more money. So let's go to number 6, Joker: Folie à Deux, the disappointment of the year. Made $2.1 million this weekend on its third weekend and dropped another massive 69%. That's unbelievable. It dropped 83% last weekend, which was one of the biggest drops in the history of movies, in history of Hollywood. So it is a complete disaster for Warner Bros. And me and my dad have a review for it that you can go check out up here, and it's just a huge disappointment. I mean, the whole film's a disappointment. It's terrible. It's a terrible film. And coming in at number 7, we have Piece by Piece, making a little over $2 million, dropping 46% from last weekend. That film's up to $7.5 million overall. And coming in at number 8, Transformers 1, which made a little under $2 million, down 47% as well. And that film is kind of a disaster. It's up to $56 million. It's not as big of a disaster as Joker, but it is still not doing well whatsoever. It's not doing well. And it had a really rough opening weekend. There are some people that thought it could make $56 million on its opening weekend. I wasn't one of them, but there were people out there who thought it could do that, and now here it is on its 5th weekend, just getting to that mark. So it is not doing well whatsoever. But coming in at number 9 is Saturday Night, with $1.7 million, down exactly 50%, and it has made $7.5 million overall. And then capping off the top 10 with number 10, The Nightmare Before Christmas re-release, coming in at $1.2 million, down 50% from last weekend, and that film's up to $4.9 million overall on its re-release. So that does it for the top 10, but one thing I did want to point out is one that did not get into the top 10, but if you come down here to the film Anora at number 18, if you look at its per theater average, and what this is basically how much money it's making on average per theater, it is the highest PTA, is what it's called, per theater average, of the year at $91,000 per theater. The other one, the previous number 1 spot, I believe, what was that film called? I don't know. It made $75,000 on its per screen average. So yeah, so this one's doing incredible. It's in 6 theaters. I mean, it's not in a ton of theaters. So when it comes into wide release, it will make a little bit less money, but it's doing incredible in those 6 theaters, and it has broken that record for the year for the biggest PTA of the year. So that's amazing. So let's look to this coming weekend with Venom: The Last Dance, a film that I'm actually pretty excited to see. And believe it or not, I actually have not seen either of the 2 Venom films. So I will be seeing those this week, so that in preparation for the film. So I'm actually really excited. I've always wanted to watch the Venom movies. They look like a lot of fun. And so finally getting around to doing it. Now that the movie's coming out, I'm kind of forced to do it. So I'm getting ready to do it. And I'm very excited for it. But how is it going to do at the box office? This is a tough one because the first Venom opened to $80 million and the second Venom opened to $90 million. And projections have come out that it is going to open around 65 to 70 million is what people are saying. And that would not be bad, but it would not be great. And I mean, it would be very needed. It's very needed this October that we have something like Venom 3 that's going to come and save October, because Joker did not do well. Smile 2 did not great. Bit of a downer. Terrifier did really well, but it did really well in comparison to its budget, but it didn't put much of a dent in the box office overall. So we need a heavy hitter, and honestly, we'll take 65 million any day, especially this October. We'll take any amount of money Venom can give us. But where I'm going to put this film, I'm going to say this film is going to make 63 million, but I'm going to take it on the up. And I'm going to put this little arrow here that basically tells you which direction I think it's going to go in. I think it's going to make about 63 million, but I think that it wouldn't surprise me if it goes a little bit higher. It surprised me if it went lower, but it wouldn't surprise me if it went a little bit higher than 63 million, but 63 is kind of where I'm seeing it. and taking the up on that. So yeah, that does it for this video. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below how high you think that Venom 3's opening is going to be. And do you think that Smile 2 is a success or a disappointment? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.